Okay, today we're going to talk about how we write the equation or functions, equation of the function sine and cosine when we're given some word problems. So this first one, example one says the cosine function with an amplitude of 2, period of 2 pi, and a phase shift of pi fourths. So just like we do with our other problems, we're going to list our information. So we know our amplitude is 2. We know that the period is 2 pi, which the period is going to allow us to find our b value, which the b value is going to be equal to 2 pi is equal to 2 pi over b, which makes this pretty easy. So b is just simply going to be 1. This one has a phase shift of pi fourths. Which means we're moving it to the right pi fourths. So at this point, we're ready to go ahead and write the equation. So we can say y equals, amplitude is 2, cosine, b is 1, x, and because we're moving it to the right pi fourths, it's going to be minus pi fourths, and there's not going to be any vertical shift, so that would be the equation there. If we're identifying the domain and the range, on this one, the domain has all of our x values. We know that's going to go from negative infinity all the way to positive infinity. And then if we're identifying the range, because we have no vertical shift, it's going to go up to 2 and it's going to go down to negative 2. So basically from negative 2 all the way to positive 2. Okay, for example 2, on this one we want to write the equation of a sine function with an amplitude of 3. So we're going to go ahead and identify here the amplitude is 3. The period on this one is pi over 2. So I can say pi over 2 equals 2 pi over b to find my b value. So I get b times pi equals 4 pi. And so when I divide by pi, b is going to be 4. I have a vertical shift of negative 2. And I have a phase shift, which means we're moving it to the left, negative pi fourths. So this again is the sine function, so we can do y equals the sine. And again, the amplitude's 3, so 3 is going to go in the front. 4 is my b value. X, because I'm moving it to the left pi fourths, it becomes plus pi fourths. And because I'm moving it down, that's a minus 2. So y equals 3 sine 4, parentheses x plus pi fourths, minus 2. And again, if I'm identifying the domain, again, it's from negative infinity to positive infinity. And the range on this one, because I'm going down to negative 2, I'm actually going to go all the way down to negative 5. And then I'm also going to go all the way up to positive 1. Okay, for example 3, we have the cosine function with an amplitude of 1/2, period of pi, and a phase shift of negative 1/2 pi. So why don't you pause the video, see if you can do this, and then unpause it here in just a second and check your answer. Okay, so we start with the amplitude. We know the amplitude is 1/2. Got a period of negative 1/2 pi, or pi over 2. So I'm going to say pi over 2 is equal to 2 pi over b. So we get b times pi equals 4 pi. So divide by pi, b is going to be 4. I'm going to have a phase shift here. of negative 1/2, so basically negative pi halves. So I'm ready to write my equation. Y equals 1/2 cosine 4, and then because I'm shifting it left, it's going to be x plus pi over 2. And if I'm going to identify my domain, again, domain is going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. My range on this one, my range, because I'm shifting it, actually just shifting it to the left, there's no vertical change. So I'm going to be from negative 1/2 all the way up to positive 1/2 for my range. Okay, for example 4, and again, you might try the same thing, maybe hit pause and then try this and then check your answer again for this one. All right, so as we go through this one, amplitude we know is 4, period we know is pi. So to find my b, I'm going to say pi equals 2 pi over b. So I get pi times b equals 2 pi. And when I divide by pi, b is going to be 2 in this case. This one I have a phase shift of pi over 2, which means I'm moving it to the right, pi over 2. No vertical change, so I'm going to say y equals the sine, again it's 4 sine 2 x, again because I'm moving to the right, it's going to be minus pi over 2, and then there's no vertical change here on this one. If I'm identifying the domain, again, domain negative infinity to positive infinity, and then my range on this one, because there's no vertical shift, it's going to start down at negative 4 and go all the way up to positive 4.